Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dion's Daily Dose. It's 2021. Here we are. I know. I took a little bit of time off, a little more than I anticipated, but we're back. And as you can see on the back of my chair here, PBK, my fat black cat, is eager to join us. And just so everyone knows, my son Donovan has personally requested me to grow a beard for the new year. So hence this. What can I say? I don't want to disappoint my son. He has a thing for facial hair. In his words, he wants me to grow a truly manly, epic beard. So I'm going to do my best to try to do that for him and see. Me personally, yeah, Dave, what a day to be back. Absolutely. Wow, what is going on in our capital, ladies and gentlemen? So let's just touch on this real quick. I, in no way, shape, or form, advocate violence. Do not hurt people. That's one of the basic rules of, I believe, the foundation of our republic. You have your stuff. I have my stuff. Leave each other's stuff alone. Leave each other alone. I am just as upset with Biden winning the election as these other people are, right? We know that there was some shady stuff going on. We know that the suitcases pulled out from under desks and people say that they tried to go vote. I covered this previously. I'm not going to get all into it. But in my opinion, there is ample evidence that should be examined in the proper way. When we have people storming the Capitol, that's not what our republic is on, ladies and gentlemen. And if you are okay with that, then I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to say. We have a real threat to our republic, and it needs to be dealt with. It needs to be examined. It needs to be fixed. But I don't think people are going about it the right way. I do know that there are many people that have been taken in by this, that believe that the way to do this is by doing the things that they're doing, and I feel for them. Look, there was this thing going around, right? Join us in D.C. so that we can, protest the vote and all that. I get it. I do. I am upset too. I am not happy, right? But ladies and gentlemen, since when do we okay people storming the Capitol building and basically yanking stuff out of it to carry off? It's not okay to loot private businesses. Why would it be okay to loot the Capitol building? The hypocrisy is palpable, right? Anyway, so look, here we go. We're going to be doing some stuff fun in the coming months and whatnot. My hair is just terrible today. You ever have a bad hair day? Today is like multiple bad hair days all in one. Good to see you guys too, Paul. Look, many of us have been holding out hope, right? Hoping that the Electoral College, that the Senate and the Congress would do their job, would call into question the things that we've seen that we know there are problems with, whether it was we were hoping the Supreme Court would work out, we were hoping that this would work out or that would work out. Ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the way to go about it. This is not the way to go about it. I was contacted by some people who asked me to go to Washington, D.C., right? They asked, hey, why don't you come with? Do some Patriots, blah, 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 blah. It's one thing to go to a protest, right? I am all for protests, all for it. By all means, if you want to stand there, you want to hold your sign, you want to talk to people, you want to address your government, right? You want to stand there and say, I will be heard. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm all for that. That is your constitutionally protected right to protest. But there is a difference between a protest and a riot. There is a difference. We've talked about this before. Just because we're talking about the Capitol building and an election that certain people are not happy with, it doesn't suspend the rules. It doesn't change how I feel about it. I still feel the same way. It's perfectly okay to have a discussion, to have even a protest where you have people who stand up and speak and talk to the government, talk to the media, and tell them, hey, this is not okay, right? We know that there were certain instances that we don't agree with. There were people who said they went to go vote and allegedly someone stole their identity and voted for them. That's a problem. These things should be looked into, but this is not the way to go about it. This is not the way to go about it. And all you're doing is giving credence to the people that claim Republicans are unhinged, that claim, oh, these gun-toting, Bible-thumping crazies are going to destroy the republic. They say democracy because they don't know the difference between a republic and democracy, but it's irrelevant. You're giving these people exactly what they wanted. You're showing them that, yeah, this is how we act. That's not okay. Look, we have people such as Ted Cruz, such as Steve Scalise. Scalise, I say it's Scalise. It's been pronounced both ways. What do you think? Do you think it's Scalise? Do you think it's Scalise? From Louisiana, which, by the way, I actually learned that he represents my hometown, the place that I was born, Houma, Louisiana. He represents New Orleans, Metairie, and Houma. I saw that today when he was speaking. I was like, oh, wow, I did not know that. I knew he was from Louisiana, but I didn't know that he represented Houma. These people, right, Ted Cruz, other people, are standing up and speaking. They're saying what we need them to say. With these people charging the Capitol building, with these people storming the premises, all it does is lend credence to the people that claim the right is filled with violence. It's not a good look, ladies and gentlemen. It is not a good look. I appreciate the need, the desire, the absolute will. Something has to be done. We have to do something. What do? We have to do it within the law. And look, don't get me wrong. If there comes a time when the overthrow of the government, let's say we lived in China, CCP, right? That kind of government needs to be overthrown. Do you believe that this is the way to go? Do you believe, honestly, truly, do you believe that this is going to help to secure an election? I don't. I believe it's going to have the opposite effect. Steezy asks, do you think the Georgia Senate yesterday was rigged? Let me say this about the Georgia Senate runoff. I can't come out and tell you that, but I'm going to tell you what I believe. If you believe that there were any issues with the presidential election, if you believe that anything untoward happened, that anything below board happened with the presidential election, especially in these swing states, regardless of how you may personally feel about it, regardless of whether you think it was enough to swing the election, any of that, if you think that there were issues, and I've seen a lot of evidence that there were issues that should be looked at minimum, don't you think that it would carry on to the runoff? Do you think it would stop with the presidential race? That's all I'm going to say. We've seen suitcases with ballots pulled out from under the table. We've seen people vote multiple times. We've seen dead people vote. We've seen thousands of voter applications and things like that from the same address, which is actually, look up Project Veritas. They just did a thing on it. Excuse me. Just dry mouth. And Paul, you're absolutely right. Paul says people are portraying as if this is the first time election has happened, right? look how long we've been dealing with it. And NWI, right? Northwest Indiana has been dealing with this type of thing for a very long time. Look at Lake County. Everyone knows that the process in Lake County is extremely flawed. Look at, and no one's claiming the F word, but look at how badly the primary went in LaPorte County. It was a train wreck, whether it was intentional, whether it was just poorly done. Now, thankfully, the person that was in charge of the LaPorte County elections got defeated in the election. So, yay. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Hopefully, her replacement, Heather Stevens, will enact some serious changes. I did talk to her briefly about some of my concerns with the electronic voting machines. We use microvote here in Indiana, and if you actually look into the history of microvote and the potential issues, there are some concerns, right? And she has some concerns too. Let me ask you this real quick. What do you think of my current lighting? I picked up one of those light rings. I'm still not 100% on the camera here, but I think it's better than the lighting that I had previously. I think this is a little softer. I like it better. I'm still trying to work out the kinks in it. I'm not totally happy with the positioning on it, but I think it's better, right? Steezy, yeah, thank you. And that's a good point. People like Obama and Trump are once in a lifetime candidates. Sometimes Obama somehow managed to win Indiana in 2008. Well, here's the interesting thing about Indiana is people like to focus on the Republican supermajority that we have here, but there are pockets in Indiana that are very blue or Democrat. My city is one of them, Michigan City. The other interesting thing about Indiana is the swamp runs very deep here. And this is something that a lot of people don't like to talk about, right? We can throw around words like the Democrats are this or the Republicans are that. Like Paul said, and I do agree with him there, there's a word there, duopoly, right? Duopoly. They are two sides of the same coin. The swamp runs deep through the Republican Party in Indiana. That I can absolutely assure you. Now, I was hoping to get elected this past election so I could work towards fixing it. But I will tell you, I'm not done. I'm not done trying to make changes, and I'm not done stepping up to tell people, look, just because someone has an R next to their name doesn't make them a good person. Just because someone has a D next to their name does not make them a bad person, and vice versa. Just because you run with a party doesn't mean you have their ideals. There's a reason that rhinos is such a common term. I will tell you that I've spoken directly to some people in Indiana that happen to hold some power, and they are not what I would consider traditional Republicans. It is a very, very deep swamp, and I don't think that any single election is going to fix it. And you're right, Paul. The Obama presidency was historic for a lot of reasons, not just race. There were many other factors that went into it. I was not a fan, right? But it had nothing to do with the person. It had to do with the decisions that he made, the administration that was behind him. There are many issues that I had with the way things went down. And let me just say, for those of you that are freaking out about the Georgia situation, about the Biden situation, bear in mind, Joe Biden has walked back many of the most extreme fears, I guess, or for lack of a better term, from Republicans. They have said specifically, well, we can't do this. Remember, they were going to completely open the border, right? Then next thing you know, it was, that's going to take longer than we thought. It's the typical bait and switch, right? I understand, especially given the the Georgia situation currently, we've got people that are truly concerned, that are truly afraid about what a Democrat president like Biden, a Congress led by Pelosi once again, and a Senate where is drawn down the middle. So VP Harris would be the deciding vote, right? In essence, Democrats control the Senate and the presidency. Currently, you could consider conservatives in control of the Supreme Court. I hope that court packing isn't the plan. We know it is, but I hope it doesn't go through. Steezy asks, have I ever voted for a Democrat for president? The closest that I ever came was Perot. I did vote for Perot until he basically walked it all back and said vote for Clinton, which I didn't quite understand. I think we all got played on that one. I liked Ross Perot. I think it was a series of mistakes that cost him the win there personally. But of course, there's a belief that he never really wanted it in the first place. It was just for this or that. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I think Perot was really the closest that I ever came. Yeah. I don't remember. Although I didn't dislike Bill initially, Clinton. Some of the decisions that he made, obviously, I disagreed with. But in the beginning, had I not voted for Perot, I probably would have voted for him because I just didn't like the alternatives. Yeah. I'll tell you one of the people though that I really regret voting for at this stage is Romney. The man is not, I don't think he's a good person at all. Again, he's deep swamp. And if you've noticed, if you've been paying attention, we really honestly, are we given generally, not with Trump, Trump's the difference, right? But pre-Trump, were we ever really given a true decision when it came to president? Look at the matchups, right? However you feel about John McCain, we can all agree that he's part of the deep state, the establishment, whatever you want to call it. So McCain versus Obama, either way, the establishment wins. Look at Romney, right? Romney, Obama. Either way, the establishment wins. And that's something else. Steezy brings up a good point. Out of all the Democratic people running for presidents, Republicans should be happy that Biden won out of all of them. He's the least far left and the most centrist. There were so many far left candidates that could have won the Democratic nomination. I will agree with that. There are far worse. And I said it at the time, and I will reiterate, for those of you that are that think that he was the best candidate to win, I will tell you, in my opinion, had Tulsi Gabbard gone, had they not pushed her out, had they backed her, the Democrats, I think she would have been very, very dangerous for Trump. I like Tulsi. And you're absolutely right, Paul. It is almost pre-decided for us. And it's something that I've noticed, right? With these elections, I forget exactly the number. I'm gonna have to look it up so I can tell you for sure. But there are only a handful of presidents. I want to say like 3 or 4 that have not been tied to a single bloodline. Let me look this up. Let's see here. I think it's 4. Here it is. I found it. Okay, it's an older article, but All presidents, bar one, are directly descended from a medieval English king. Here, I'm going to share this for you. Let me get it up here. Boom, boom. This is from 2012. Now, they try to claim it's ruling in the genes, right? That's the name of the thing. But let's see here. Let's get a screen share going on here so you can see what I'm looking at. It's actually pretty interesting. Let's make sure everybody can see this. Go back to this. Yeah, let's put this full screen. All right, check this out. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but what is with it? Like, ads are one thing, but they like insist on it taking up massive amounts of room, right? So 12-year-old girl created a family tree linking 42 of 43 U.S. presidents to King John of England, who signed Magna Carta in 1215. Only the 8th president, Martin Van Buren, was not related to John. Barack Obama, Thomas Jefferson, George W. Bush, and other past U.S. presidents have in common, besides holding the coveted title of Commander-in-Chief, all of them but one are cousins, right? So you can see the pictures, right? Now, tell me, what does this mean, right? It's very, very interesting. It's almost as if these people are all connected. And again, the person that you would think would be not related still is. So here we go. We're jump tracks here for a little bit. I'm going to tell you, coming up on the channel, I'm going to keep filling you in on the interesting things that I think are going on, but I'm also going to keep you filled in on what's going on here locally. I have been contacted about a potential position to serve on a board, and I think that will be a good thing. I think I can hopefully make some changes that way and talk about what's coming up. There are many people that have asked me to run again in 2 years, and we're considering that. I'm not going to say I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say I'm definitely going to do it, but it is something that we're looking at. Tulsi, Julian Castro, and so many more could have beaten Trump with that young vote and could have been an Obama exciting candidate. I do think that Tulsi Gabbard, in conjunction with, let's say, Yang, right? Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard together, it could have been interesting, to say the least. I think that they could have really, like you said, drummed up some serious excitement. All other things aside, let's at least agree that Biden is not an exciting candidate at all. He does not generate excitement. And honestly, one of the first things that he's done since at least appearing to win at this point is start walking back all the things that he said he was going to do. Like, he said he was going to open the border. He has walked that back. He said that he was going to basically embrace the BLM movement and help them out in many ways. And one of the first things that he did was walk all of that back and tell them, hey, thanks for getting me here, but I am not here for you. So that's kind of what I find the most interesting about this is he is almost shouting, don't expect any different from me than you got before. It's going to be the same thing. So while there are many that might be a little frustrated with that might be angry about he was supposed to be the change, all I can say is you knew what you had with him. He's not new. He's been in politics for a very long time. He knows the game, right? He knows the deal. And you should too by this point, unless you're a first-time voter. And there are many first-time voters out there. I'm not denigrating you at all. I'm not talking down to you or trying to take away from your achievement of voting in your first election. But always, always, always look at the history of these candidates. Look at the history, the things that they've accomplished, the things that they've done. Unfortunately, Biden has told us personally. Oh, this is interesting. Paul says, me personally see Tulsi as a shaker to their overall agenda. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do not like her because she's not establishment. She is kind of on the fringe and says no. And they won't allow that. I'm seeing quite a bit of Gabbard Amash comments on Facebook and Twitter. Then, that would be an interesting lineup, too, is Tulsi Gabbard and Justin, I don't know how you say his last name, Amash. And Steezy said he knows the system. He does know the system. He works the system quite well. He's been around for a long time. He's been in it for a long time. It's no secret. I think the guy's a putz. I think he's deep, swamp, but he's effective. He's done this for decades, 47 years. He's been paid by us to do nothing over and over and over. Why wouldn't he keep doing it? And that's part of the problem too, ladies and gentlemen, is we get riled up at elections, right? When election time comes around, we get riled up. We unite. We talk about the things that we want to change. We talk about the things that we want to do. And when the election's over, we just kind of sink back into our holes. Now, for many of us, I mean, we got jobs we have to do. We have kids we have to take care of. We got to worry about our mortgages and our insurance and all that stuff because the system is designed that way, right? But there are opportunities for us to make changes, but we have to break the norm. We have to step out of our comfort level. I would not have voted for Romney. I still can't get behind Obama just because of I'll tell you what it is. It isn't even primarily what Obama did. It's the way that the media cover for him and claim that there's no scandals. I mean, Fast and the Furious, targeting. I mean, we can go on and on, right? For anyone that truly wants to look into it, the evidence is there. But I probably would have gone Johnson. Honestly, this election more than any other has really shown that if we want true change, it's not going. It really probably will not come about with the duopoly, with the Republican Party or the Democrat Party, at least establishment. These people that have been in the system for years and years. Do you honestly believe that by voting for one of these people that they're going to bring the change that you want? Seriously. Ask yourself that. Yes, I am a Republican. I am a member of the Republican Party, but I am a constitutional Republican. I am not a swamp Republican. I am not part of their elite. This election would have been very good for a strong third-party candidate like a Ross Perot. Yeah, I'm going to – Paul's not going to like this, but I'm going to touch on the third party here just for a minute. I'm going to talk about Joe and her running mate, Spike, right? The problem, I believe, with the Libertarian Party is when you have someone like Vermin Supreme. The guy's hilarious, don't get me wrong, but no one takes him seriously, right? And when you have someone like Spike who has jumped in with both feet with Berman, right? And talking about My Little Pony and stuff like that, being a brony and all of that, it makes it really difficult to take someone like seriously. I just can't do it. I can't look at this guy and say, oh, yeah, he would make an excellent vice president, because I don't think he would. I think the guy's a goof. Now, those who have talked to him in person, those who've sat down with him, like Paul has a high opinion of the guy. I respect that. But I just can't. Until we get a third-party candidate that represents, I guess, a level of respectability that I think was missing. The other thing I believe that really hurt the third party this particular election cycle was the focus on, in my opinion, trying to pander to certain outliers in the movements that are out there. I think that really hurt. I think that there are better ways for the Libertarian Party to, I guess, craft the narrative is what I'm saying. Again, I like libertarians, right? I had Rainwater on my show. He and I had a great conversation. I still think it's a damn shame the guy didn't win governorship. I think he would have done a much better job, but that's where it's at. I voted for Rainwater, by the way. I don't know, now that the election's over and I'm not a Republican candidate for office, I absolutely voted Rainwater. Why? Because I can't stand the way that the governor handled. I can't stand the fact that he shut down small businesses. I can't stand the fact that this mask mandate. How long are we going to pretend that this works? How long are we going to pretend that we're going to make a difference against the virus? I'm being serious. 15 days to slow the spread. Where are we at now? We're almost the year mark. 15 days. How long are we going to do this? How long are we going to pretend? Initially, remember, this shutdown was supposed to be so our medical system could keep up, so that the hospitals and emergency rooms and clinics didn't get overwhelmed. That was the initial purpose of this the lockdowns, right? Now we have curfews. We have people that are deciding whether your business gets to stay open. And they have snitches. They are paying people to go to small businesses and report as to whether or not they are following the mask mandate. Are you kidding me right now? One word, Gestapo. One word. Can we agree that it is not up to our neighbors to report on us? Can we at least agree on that? If you want to require, again, I'm very pro-business, right? Pro-small business especially. If you want to require masks at your business, that is absolutely your right. If you want a business to require masks, by all means, you can choose to not go to a business that doesn't require it. We're always talking about free choice, right? My body, my choice. I could go on and on, but I'm not going to because eventually I might run for something again. Anyway. And you know, Stevie says basically every president has been corrupt or in the system apart from a very few. I agree. They're all connected. It is all connected. All these congressmen. Speaking of congressmen, can we just stop for a moment and remove the shock from the people who are surprised by the way Frank Mervan is voting? Are you kidding me right now? You can't possibly be even remotely surprised by the way this man is voting. He told you before he got in exactly what kind of a person he was. He showed you. Idiots. Freaking morons. Let's see here. Oh, first, Steezy said people like the neighbor snitches are looking for a payday. Yes. Yes, they are. And I do not fault them for that part. I understand times are tough. You got to get that hustle. You got to make that money, right? But going and people aren't reporting Walmart. They're not reporting Meijer. They're not sending the snitch squad in to Best Buy or Lowe's, are they? I don't see the snitch squad focusing on them. Let me have a break with this. Paul says, but the difference is between the LP and the duopoly is the groups you see us as pandering to are all vital parts of our party since its inception in 72. The establishment doesn't GAF about minority groups or true equality. I will agree with you there. I will absolutely agree with you there. And it's both sides, whether it's Republican, Democrat, or somewhere in between. They don't truly care about you, about me, about any of us. It is about focusing on what's best for the party. And Tulsi even, I think it was Tulsi, They get you to Congress, right? And the first thing they do is separate you. They send the Republicans this way, the Democrats this way, and they tell you, you are here to score for our party. It is not for your district. It is not for your people. It is for the party. Let's see here. Oh, dude. Yeah. Right. They're millionaires anyway. May as well go and do it because the government can't get a good stimulus check going. No, don't actually do it, but it's a joke about yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? So let's talk about the stimulus thing, right? Everyone, the press is so dishonest, and I'm sure you know this, but Trump said, let's get rid of the pork, let's give everybody $2,000, right? I personally would have liked it to be significantly more than $2,000. Way back when this first started, we said we should just give everybody 6 months worth of median income, shut everything down except for required places, right? Beat this, or at least show that we're not going to beat it. That's kind of where I'm leaning. You're not going to beat a virus this way, right? There's no hazardous material bins. There's no decontamination areas. Let's be real. We're not serious about stopping this virus. Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Steve. Why did Taco Bell get millions of dollars and a local business can't even get $1,000? These stimulus things are a joke. The entire thing is a big joke at the American public's expense. Are you kidding me right now? $600 when we're giving millions of dollars to foreign countries, special interest, and large corporations. How is it that the American people are expected to save for a rainy day, but massive corporations such as these airlines are not? Look at the auto bailout, look at the airline bailout, the cruise ship bailout. Why is that okay? But we should get the shaft. Why? Because we don't pay as much taxes as they do. Yeah, and you know what? That's one thing that I agree with. The 600 is a joke. It's a bad joke at our expense. It's infuriating, and watching it as someone who tried to be a part of the solution is immensely frustrating. It really is, because I can look at how these people are voting and say, oh my God, I would vote the exact opposite. Well, I guess I need to try harder next time to get elected then, because it is absolutely infuriating to see these people sit there and vote yes. There's no way these people even read this bill. Look at the size of it. Look when it was introduced, when they were expected to vote. And that's part of the problem. It's absolutely part of the problem. Until we as a country start demanding that these people that we're sending to Washington, D.C. start doing their jobs the way we want them to do them, not just D.C., but state legislature as well, then we're going to keep getting what we're getting. That's the bottom line. And I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that this is the beginning of people waking up, because I will say this. If anything good came from this joke of a stimulus, it's that a lot of people are starting to realize that it is not one party or another. It is both. It is both. The Republicans don't care about you. The Democrats don't care about you. None of these people are there for you. They're there for their party. The Democrats want to send millions and millions of dollars to other countries. The Republicans don't want to give you $2,000. Together, it's F you, American people. Good job, Pakistan, or all these other countries. And you're absolutely right. $600 for the last 6 months is a gigantic middle finger to the American people. We're really sorry that we destroyed your livelihood. We're really sorry that we shut down. We're really sorry that we prevented you from going to work and threw you a few dollars. Here's our chance to do something about that. And what are we going to do? We're going to give you a little tiny amount of money. You know, that's not even enough for a month's rent. in most of the places around the country. The majority. Some rural areas, if you have a small, like studio apartment, $400 or $500 maybe. The majority, most people can't pay their mortgage payment with that. Some people can, but for 6 months you give us $600. Are you kidding me right now? What a flat out absolute joke. Like I said, I could go on and on about this. We're at 40 minutes already. We're going to wrap it up. I will tell you, though, I will not be on tomorrow night because I have plans. I'm going to someone's house for dinner. I will be starting the show up again, though, and we're going to cover stuff like this. We're also going to cover I'm going to fill you in once I have the details about what's going on here locally. One of the things that I do plan on doing is I do plan on having our recently elected officials on to talk about what are the biggest hurdles that are facing us in getting transparency and getting some real issues resolved. I think it's going to be more interesting than it sounds. These are people that are now directly in the system, and I have it on good authority from one of them that there are many, many documents that are really going to open some people's eyes. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be, I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an amazing year, whether you believe it yet or not. 2021, I believe, is going to change a lot of people's minds about a lot of things. So stick with us. Thank you for joining me tonight. I really, really appreciate that. I was a little worried about coming back after so long of a break, whether or not people would even join me. So to finish off, Steezy says, how can someone think like a millionaire like Lindsey Graham cares about $600? The very fact that these people said it's like socialism for the rich makes me sick. They have no idea what the average person goes through on a day-to-day or monthly basis. So maybe we can figure out how to show them. See how that comes about. So thank you very much for joining me. As always, God bless you. God bless Indiana. And God bless the United States of America. We'll see you again soon. Thanks.